All right. So on my other channel, I have been noticing that there are rock stars that are dropping like flies. Some of them are kind of old, others are not all that old. It's people anywhere from their 50s to their 70s. Hank Aaron, who's obviously not a rock star, I noted a while back that he looked really healthy. There was no cause of death revealed. Um, Greatest home run hitter of all time. And all of a sudden, he's not there anymore. Today, the bass player from ZZ Top dies in his sleep, 72. Okay, made a bunch of great music over the years. Probably lived kind of a rock and roll lifestyle. So I mean, there was no cause of death, and there was no illness prior. And this is happening over and over again. The guy who produced all of the Meatloaf records, Jim Steinman, he, again, suddenly, I think 71 years old. No explanation. Tawny Katane, only 59 years old. She used to grace the hoods of cars that were used in Whitesnake videos. Very attractive woman, especially back in the day. She's gone. No explanation. A couple days ago, the lead vocalist from a band called Metal Church, who are kind of like, I don't know, hardcore Metallica type musicians, basically, very similar style. They would consider it thrash metal back in the day. This guy was 55. I think his name was Mike Howe. 55 years old. And then they did some extra reporting on Mr. Howe and said that they ruled out drugs and alcohol. You would think, again, that type of band, really hard living, but guy's in his 50s and he's kind of like this family man now. If you look at him, you could see him in the supermarket and go, hey, here's a decent guy. Not that I'm discriminating against anybody here with tattoos on their faces and so forth, but I mean, this guy just looked like your run-of-the-mill, middle-aged or younger-looking middle-aged guy. He's not here anymore. He's gone. So that's, anecdotal. But in each instance, it seems as though there is no other information provided. It's just that. Okay, and you dig a little deeper, you wait a little longer, and nothing really changes. What happens is someone else dies and sort of takes up the oxygen in the news cycle, and you forget about the person who was there the week before, or now no longer there, but at least being talked about. And this cycle has continued and perpetuated itself now for quite some time. Hank Aaron, I think, was back in January. And I haven't kept track of all of them. There are people in the alternative news, platforms that I watch from time to time, and they're all over this stuff. They're like, okay, well, then there's the reporting system, which erased half of its data last week, citing a clerical error. Huh? What? So you had 12,000 and then you changed it to 6,000. And they said it was because people from outside the United States were reporting people who were either not in the United States at the time, or that were in the United States and they were related to them. So it doesn't count. So if I live in Bermuda and my parents live in Toledo, Ohio, and something happens to them and I report it, they're not going to count that. That's basically what they're telling us, that's why, nope, doesn't count. So did they not die, or are they just like statistically neutral? Because the reporting, you're basically erasing data based on a technicality. Bizarre. And everybody says, see, it's not as bad. They made a clerical error. They erased half of that. By the way, even at the half level that they erased it to, it's still more than the past 30 years combined. So you had the last 30 years, and then you have the 6 or 8 months, or whatever it is now. And that's more. That's more, even with their doctored data, we'll call it. Maybe in more ways than one, right? Anyway, folks, look, you could say, okay, anecdotal evidence. How can you make these claims? You're just trying to, you're just trying to stir the pot. There's nothing to stir. Everything is great. It's safe. It's effective. What you're saying to people is going to really deter them from doing what they need to do. By the way, everybody in the world is telling you to do this 24 hours a day. And now it's Spinal Tap. They've turned the volume up to 11. And you're thinking to yourself, how much louder and more panic driven can this sound? I mean, I live in supposedly super freedom state, man. Ron DeSantis, he's like the freedom dude. He's like totally sold out for freedom. Yeah, and the other day he's talking up big pharma. So I was like, great. I mean, libertarians, if you're out there, there's a little bit of an opening. You decide you want to take the opening rather than talking about qualified immunity and pot for 7-year-olds or whatever it is that you're into, or hey, what's the matter with adults and little kids, that kind of thing. If you want to like get off the libertine train and get on the liberty train, we'd appreciate some help. I mean, you could run a candidate and say, look, this guy here is okay. He's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's a 6 or a 7. I want to be the 10, meaning I want to be full strength, freedom, liberty, no, no free speech bans, nothing of the sort. I mean, if you're really going to break up the tech oligarchs, start working on it. Start doing something about it. Have a rally somewhere. Invite a few folks in and see how many people really want to do this, especially with the lack of information out there. And now you've got these suspicious fatalities that everybody says, oh, it's just a coincidence. Well, what did they do a week prior to that coincidence? They all did the thing where you go down to CVS or Walgreens. They did that thing. Huh? And nobody seems to make that connection or attempt it. Nobody wants to even think that this might not be going the way it should go. Right now, it should be shut down, completely shut down. It should have been shut down about a week in. It should have been shut down. And there are whistleblowers out there. That's why I did a video called 45,000. Yeah, there are whistleblowers out there who've worked on the inside, who are making statements. And again, you can fact check the crap out of those statements. I mean, I don't know if they've got screenshots. I don't know if they've physically taken data, printouts, whatever. You'd have to do that kind of thing right now, because this isn't about skepticism. This is about blocking information. This is about an embargo on actual data, like saying, no, you can't say that. Well, what if it's true? You still can't say it. Well, it came off a government website. You guys trust the government, right? So much? No, we don't allow you to post that. What? It came from the people who you are promoting day and night. This is why we're living in a bizarro world where there's no, it's goes beyond that. There's no sense. There's no common sense, or there's no sense. It's you become the crazy person after a while, because, and this is what they want. They want you to think that you're nuts. Well, I'm nuts for questioning this. They've told me I'm nuts. I just need to go along and do what everybody else is doing. That way I can keep my job. That way I can keep my freedom. No, they're going to, and then they're going to come 3 months later and tell you that you need to do it again, because there's a new version of the old thing, which is still really the same thing, but they're going to tell you, by the way, when things mutate traditionally, they're less lethal. They might be more contagious, but they're less lethal. That's how it used to work. But see, we've thrown out all of that, pediatrician stuff, and we've gone full, Klaus Schwab. So I don't know what else to do or say other than it is mysterious that people are dropping, and it's more mysterious and quite frightening that nothing is being said to tell you why this just happened. Because here's something. If there was something that was causing people not to be alive anymore, it's criminal to keep that information from the people who are inquiring about it, because you're basically saying, well, I really don't care about you anyway. So don't investigate. Don't look at this. If it happens to you, so what? Because it could be preventable, right? You could prevent this from happening to yourself if you knew the truth. We are in super dark days, people. I mean, I can't even believe I'm here. I mean, in a way, this is the most spectacular time to be alive. But a spectacular is like fireworks going off. That's when I think of spectacular. Tumultuous, but you're fully alive if you're engaged in this. If you're not engaged in this, you might as well go down to CVS and do your duty, because you don't, if you're not going to fight it, you might as well just go along with it.